On March 27th, 1977, at exactly 5:06 p.m., 583 people died in 27 seconds. Not from terrorism, not from mechanical failure, but from 3 words spoken by the world's most experienced pilot. We are going. What you're about to hear is the untold story of how a perfect storm of miscommunication, fog, and human error created the world's deadliest air disaster. 2 Boeing 747 jumbo jets, 583 souls, 1 runway, and a series of split-second decisions that aviation experts are still studying today. I'm about to take you inside the cockpit, into the control tower, and reveal the shocking chain of events that turned a routine Sunday afternoon into aviation's darkest hour. By the end of this video, you'll understand why every pilot today learns about what happened at Tenerife, and why it should never happen again. Picture this. Both planes involved in the crash had been scheduled to depart from Las Palmas on the island of Gran Canaria. But here's where fate intervened. A terrorist bomb exploded at Gran Canaria Airport that morning, forcing all incoming flights to divert to the tiny Los Rodeos Airport in Tenerife. Now, Los Rodeos wasn't built for this. The airport has no ground tracking radar, no way for controllers to see where planes are on the runway once they disappear into the fog. And that fog, it was rolling in thick that afternoon, turning the airport into a maze of invisible metal giants. But here's what makes this truly terrifying. Jacob Veldhuizen van Zanten, chief flight instructor for KLM and the captain of the KLM Flight, wasn't just any pilot. Shortly before the Tenerife airport disaster, Veldhuizen van Zanten was photographed for KLM's advertising campaign. This was literally the face of KLM, their most experienced, most trusted captain. And that experience, it was about to become the deadliest confidence in aviation history. Here's where it gets chilling. This procedure, rare at commercial airports, is called a back taxi. At Tenerife in '77, it will put 2 747s on the same runway at the same time, invisible not only to each other, but to the control tower as well. Think about that. 2 massive aircraft, each carrying hundreds of people, moving on the same strip of concrete, unable to see each other. The Pan Am flight, Clipper Victor, was slowly taxiing down the runway, trying to find the exit. Meanwhile, KLM Flight 4805 was at the other end, cleared for takeoff. But here's the crucial detail. They were not cleared for departure. The control tower said OK to their route clearance, not takeoff clearance. But in that fog, with radio interference crackling through their headsets, Van Zanten hears only the word OK, followed by a 5-second squeal. He keeps going. But here's what investigators discovered that will make your blood run cold. 10 seconds later, there is one final exchange, clearly and maddeningly audible on the post-crash tapes. Report when runway clear, the tower says to Pan Am. 10 seconds. The controller was asking Pan Am to confirm they were off the runway. Van Zanten was already accelerating for takeoff, thinking the runway was clear. At 5:06 p.m., Captain Van Zanten pushed the throttles forward. The KLM 747 began its takeoff roll down runway 30. The crew's anxiety over a delayed return to Amsterdam was a significant factor in the early departure. KLM had recently introduced new duty time regulations, and the cockpit recording showed how the crew was concerned about this. 27 seconds into the takeoff roll, the fog began to clear. For just a moment, Van Zanten could see ahead. And there, dead center on the runway, was the Pan Am 747 still trying to taxi to safety. Captain Victor Grubbs of Pan Am saw it too. Get off, get off, get off, he screamed, jamming the throttles forward, trying desperately to get out of the way. Van Zanten pulled back on the yoke, trying to lift off early. The KLM 747 actually became airborne for exactly 3 seconds. But it wasn't enough. Both aircraft were destroyed by the impact and consequential fire, and 583 people died. Everyone aboard the KLM flight perished instantly. On Pan Am, just 61 people survived, all from the Pan Am jumbo jet, 583 lives lost in 27 seconds. Because of words that were never spoken and clearances that were never given. The investigation that followed didn't just point fingers. It revolutionized aviation forever. It was found that a series of miscommunications and misunderstandings among the air traffic controllers and pilots contributed to the tragedy. But here's what they discovered that changed everything. The investigation attributed the crash primarily to the actions and inactions of the KLM captain. The most experienced pilot, the face of the airline, had made assumptions that killed 583 people. From Tenerife came standardized phraseology that every pilot and controller uses today. No more okay, only cleared for takeoff, or negative. Ground radar became mandatory at major airports. Crew resource management was born, teaching pilots that experience doesn't mean infallibility. But here's the most chilling lesson. He believed in partnership, to the extent that he insisted on his first officers addressing him during flight as Jaap, and not Captain Van Zanten. Even progressive leadership couldn't overcome the deadly combination of pressure, fog, and assumption. Remember those 3 words from the beginning? We are going, spoken in Dutch as we gaan. They're now studied in every aviation program worldwide as the moment when confidence became catastrophe. The families of those 583 victims didn't die in vain. Every time you board a plane today, you're protected by lessons written in their memory. The crystal clear communications, the ground radar, the safety protocols, all born from 27 seconds of horror. At Tenerife, what do you think was the single most preventable factor in this disaster? Drop your theory in the comments below. And if you want to understand how modern aviation prevents disasters like this, hit that subscribe button. Next week, I'm revealing the classified story of how a civilian airliner accidentally wandered into a military test zone and why the fighter jets sent to intercept it couldn't catch up. You won't believe what happened next.